Hello, Bama. The Alabama Crimson Tide is facing a critical moment in the season with a series of injuries that could impact their performance, particularly with a highly anticipated matchup against Georgia on the horizon. Coach Kalen DeBoer, who has been masterfully leading the team since taking over, provided detailed updates on the status of four key players: Malachi Moore, Quarusaw, Cole Adams, and Richard Young. The injuries to these athletes, who have been central figures throughout the season, require attention but also present a valuable opportunity for rest with the bye week before the crucial game against Georgia. Malachi Moore, a heavyweight name in defense, was one of those who exited the game against Wisconsin after a blow to the head. DeBoer was clear in stating that Moore has undergone the necessary protocol for such injuries, emphasizing the importance of following every step in the recovery process. The good news is that, according to the coach, the signs are positive. However, the seriousness of concussions in football demands caution. Despite the optimism, Moore's progression will be closely monitored, and it cannot be ruled out that Alabama might opt for a conservative approach to ensure his full recovery. The absence of Quarusaw, who also sustained a leg injury during the clash with Wisconsin, is another point that demands attention. Quarusaw has been an essential piece in the Crimson Tide's defense, and his recovery will be crucial for maintaining the team's defensive solidity. DeBoer noted that the bye week could not have come at a better time, providing a precious window for Quarusaw to advance in his recovery. The coach indicated that, with proper care, the linebacker could begin training more intensely by the end of the week. It is evident that Alabama does not want to take unnecessary risks, and any setback would be a severe blow to the team. On the other hand, Cole Adams is still dealing with an arm injury sustained during the game against South Florida. He was unavailable against Wisconsin, but DeBoer's words suggest that there is hope for his return soon. The coach was cautious in discussing Adams' recovery, stating that the priority is ensuring the young player is fully healthy before returning to action. Adams, who has demonstrated his value throughout the season, is another athlete whose recovery will be critical for the team's success. Like Quarusaw, Adams' return schedule will be carefully monitored to avoid any additional risks. Richard Young, who also exited the game against Wisconsin with a leg injury, remains an enigma. DeBoer was more reserved when discussing Young's situation, acknowledging that the team is still in the assessment phase. The lack of more detailed information suggests that Young's condition might be more complex than the others, or simply that a complete diagnosis has yet to be finalized. Regardless, Young's injury adds an extra layer of uncertainty to the team. The silver lining for Alabama is that the bye week offers all these players valuable time to recover before the pivotal clash against Georgia. With Bryant-Denny Stadium gearing up for the encounter, DeBoer and his coaching staff will have to make strategic decisions about who will be available for the game. The team has shown resilience throughout the season, and the updates on the injuries reflect a commitment to ensuring that their players are in the best possible shape for the most challenging part of the schedule. Coach Kalen DeBoer's approach to managing these injuries has been marked by caution and pragmatism. Rather than pushing for the premature return of key players, he has emphasized the importance of gradual progressions and long-term health, which could be a differentiator this season. This reflects a more modern philosophy in football, where athlete safety is a priority, especially concerning head injuries, as in Malachi Moore's case. Fans undoubtedly hope that names like Moore, Quarusaw, Adams, and Young can recover in time, but regardless, Alabama has always known how to reinvent itself and overcome challenges. The showdown with Georgia promises to be one of the most intense of the season, and the Crimson Tide will need all the talent and determination their players can muster. Let's go forward. Ryan Williams is quickly establishing himself as one of the greatest talents to emerge from Alabama football in recent years, and the impact he has already made in just 3 weeks of his debut season is undeniable. The young wide receiver, who forewent his final year of high school to join the Crimson Tide, has not only proven that he belongs at this level of competition but has also surpassed many of the big names that preceded him in terms of initial performance. Comparisons to legends like Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, Devonta Smith, and Calvin Ridley become inevitable as we witness the overwhelming pace at which Williams is leaving his mark. With Kalen DeBoer now at the helm, Alabama has found a true diamond in the rough in Ryan Williams, and his decision to recommit to the program following Nick Saban's retirement was crucial for the future of the Crimson Tide. Since he officially signed with the team in February, expectations for his performance were high, but few could have predicted the immediate impact he would have. Even without participating in spring training, Williams arrived in the summer ready to compete at a high level, a rarity even among the highest-rated recruits. Williams's rapid adaptation to the collegiate level is evident in his numbers. 10 receptions for 285 yards and 4 touchdowns in 3 games are a start that puts any critic on notice. More than that, he has proven reliable in critical moments, as demonstrated in the victory over USF, where he scored a crucial touchdown in the fourth quarter. This type of contribution in critical moments is what separates good players from exceptional talents, and Williams clearly belongs in the latter category. Comparing the start of his career with other Alabama greats like Jerry Jeudy, Devonta Smith, Jaylen Waddle, and Julio Jones only reinforces his meteoric rise. While many of these elite receivers took some time to find their rhythm, Williams is dominating from the first game. His immediate impact is akin to that of Julio Jones, who, like Williams, was a clear number 1 option from the moment he stepped onto the field for Alabama. However, Williams is surpassing even the early achievements of Jones, which is an extremely promising sign for the rest of his season and college career. Beyond individual impact, Williams' success is intrinsically linked to Alabama's ambitions to compete for national titles. The 2 previous times the freshman reception record was broken by Alabama players, the team ended up winning the national title, 2012 with Amari Cooper and 2015 with Calvin Ridley. This fact does not go unnoticed by Crimson Tide fans, who now see in Williams not just a future star but possibly the final piece that could take Alabama back to the pinnacle of college football. There are still many games to be played, and Williams will need to maintain a high level of performance if he hopes to break Calvin Ridley's reception record and establish himself as one of the greatest freshmen in Alabama history. However, if he continues at this pace, it's hard to imagine he won't. The Iron Bowl, the traditional matchup against Auburn, already looms on the horizon as a possible stage for this achievement. For Auburn fans, the prospect of watching Williams break this record against them is simply terrifying. It's also important to highlight the connection Williams has established with quarterback Jaylen Milo. The pair have shown special chemistry on the field, and Milroe's accuracy in finding Williams at key moments has been a decisive factor for the success of Alabama's offense so far. Milroe's perfect pass to Williams in the first quarter against Wisconsin was a clear example of how lethal this partnership can be to opponents throughout the season. Kalen DeBoer also deserves credit for bringing Williams back to a commitment with Alabama after Saban's departure. The coach understood the importance of keeping such a promising talent in the program, and so far, his decision has proven to be the right one. DeBoer is in his first year at the helm of the Crimson Tide, and having a player of Williams' caliber certainly eases his transition and helps build a promising future for the program. Let's move forward. The Alabama Crimson Tide's defense, now under the guidance of defensive coordinator Kane Womack, has shown promising performance in the first 3 weeks of the 2024 season, yet according to Womack, it is still far from reaching its full potential. With victories over Western Kentucky, South Florida, and Wisconsin, Alabama has placed itself in a solid position before its first foray into the rigorous SEC schedule. Intriguingly, as Womack himself admitted, the Alabama defense hasn't had to show all its cards, suggesting that despite the solid numbers, there is much more to be revealed as the season progresses. With a total defense ranked 19th nationally, allowing an average of 248 yards per game and an impressive 3.37 yards per play, the Crimson Tide has already demonstrated very good consistency. Additionally, the team is tied for 14th in scoring defense, allowing just 26 points across 3 games, including 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals. Compared to other SEC powerhouses like Ole Miss, Georgia, and Tennessee, Alabama remains competitive, having conceded only 2 touchdowns so far. However, Womack was clear in stating that the team has not yet utilized its full defensive arsenal. In his words, "We carry much more defense going into each of these 3 games, but as the team realized there was no need to use more complex schemes, they opted to keep them in reserve." This is an interesting and undoubtedly strategic tactic, as the real test will come with the onset of SEC games, where the level of competition will be considerably higher. The fact that Alabama has room to grow, as stated by Womack, can be seen as a significant advantage. Unlike other teams that have already revealed much of their schemes, the Crimson Tide is in a position where it can surprise its opponents as the season progresses. With the game against Georgia approaching, Womack signaled that the playbook will be expanded, making room for the execution of more complex defensive schemes, especially in blitzes and frontline techniques. For him, it's crucial to ensure that the younger players are prepared to face the challenges of the SEC, which may explain the focus on repetitions and tactical refinement during this preparatory phase. Another important point is the balance the Alabama defense has managed to maintain, even without resorting to more aggressive strategies. The unit has been efficient, both in containing the ground game and in defending against the pass. However, as the games become more competitive, Womack is expected to start implementing bolder blitz schemes and tactical variations that have not yet been seen in the first weeks of the season. This element of surprise can be a crucial weapon for the Crimson Tide, especially when facing the SEC heavyweights like LSU and Georgia later on. The ability to change the defensive approach and confuse opponents with new schemes is something Alabama has historically done with great success, and this season appears to follow the same trajectory. Womack also emphasized the importance of giving younger players more game time and more opportunities to develop within Alabama's defensive scheme. Players who are beginning to stand out will have a crucial role now that the season advances, and this growth phase mentioned by the coordinator will be critical for the team's performance in the coming weeks. For opponents, this means that the real test against Alabama is still to come, and the defense led by Womack promises to be more than prepared for the challenge. Game on! Under the leadership of coach Jaylen Milo, the Alabama Crimson Tide has maintained a standard of excellence both on and off the field. However, a recent comment from wide receiver Jeremy Bernard, right after a convincing win over Wisconsin, caused some discomfort. In a moment of post-game enthusiasm, Bernard declared that Alabama was ready to end the week jump music, referring to Wisconsin's famous jump-around tradition at Camp Randall Stadium. Although the victory was impressive, with the Crimson Tide dominating 42-10, Bernard's reaction prompted a wave of criticism that quickly demanded a response from the team. Jump around, a cherished tradition at the end of the third quarter in Wisconsin games, is a special moment for Badger fans, when the song My House of Pain plays, and the crowd in the stadium starts jumping in unison, creating an electrifying atmosphere. During the Saturday matchup, Alabama players were seen enjoying the music, something that was interpreted as a celebration of the victory that was nearly secured. However, Bernard's post-game comment was received with disdain, especially by Wisconsin fans, who cherished this tradition. In response, Jaylen Milo, always attentive to the culture and respectful environment he seeks to cultivate in the Alabama program, moved to clarify the situation. At a press conference on Monday, he mentioned that Bernard had apologized for his comments during the team meeting on Sunday. "We want to be first class and we slipped a bit there," Milo stated, making it clear that the team's conduct should always reflect the highest standards, in terms of both performance and behavior. Malo's handling of the situation reflects his leadership approach. He emphasized that the Alabama Crimson Tide values respect for all opponents and traditions, and that Bernard's comment did not represent the team's mindset as a whole. "It was a great atmosphere," said Malo about the environment at Camp Randall Stadium. "Nothing but respect for the environment and who they are as a program." By praising the Wisconsin setting, Malo showed that the Crimson Tide, though one of the most dominant teams in the country, understands the importance of maintaining a respectful stance under any circumstances. Bernard taking responsibility for his comment, without any prompting from the coach or his teammates, shows maturity and commitment. "He is a first-class guy," said DeBoer, adding that Bernard felt the need to address the team and apologize, recognizing that, in a moment of excitement, he had let himself get carried away. This reflects the character of the player, who, despite his talent and contribution to the victory, with a touchdown reception and 3 receptions for 55 yards in the game, understands the importance of acting in accordance with the program's values. This episode, as brief and seemingly trivial as it might appear, highlights the importance of the culture DeBoer is building at Alabama. College football is marked by great rivalries and intense emotions, but ultimately, mutual respect between programs is essential. DeBoer has been clear in reinforcing that while Alabama is an elite program and constantly seeks excellence, this should never come at the expense of respect for traditions or opponents. Seeing Alabama players enjoying the moment might have been a reflection of the climate of confidence and celebration on the sidelines, but Bernard's comment went beyond what is considered acceptable, especially for a team that prides itself on its class and professionalism. This incident served as a minor course correction for Bernard and, possibly, for the rest of the team. While the Crimson Tide has plenty of reasons to celebrate its dominant performance so far, DeBoer made it clear that this celebration should always be accompanied by respect and humility. This aligns with the philosophy he has brought to the program since taking over as head coach, maintaining the high standards that were established during Nick Saban's era. What do you think of Bama's performance? Comment at the end of the video. Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback Jaylen Milo has been named the SEC Co-Offensive Player of the Week, a well-deserved honor following his impressive performance at Camp Randall Stadium against Wisconsin. Milo showcased his talent and versatility, leading Alabama to a dominant victory that further solidifies his crucial role in Coach Kalen DeBoer's offensive scheme. This marks the 4th time Milo has received this award in his career, but it is his first in the 2024 season, highlighting his development as the main quarterback for the Crimson Tide. Milo demonstrated his skill in both the air and on the ground, completing 12 of 17 passes for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns, in addition to rushing for 75 yards and 2 more scores. His ability to threaten opposing defenses in multiple ways made him a nightmare for Wisconsin and continues to be a key piece in Alabama's offensive strategy. Milo's performance was vital for securing the road victory, but what stood out the most was his composure and accuracy in critical moments. His connection with receivers, including rising talent Ryan Williams, was essential for maintaining the Crimson Tide's offensive momentum. Milo not only distributed the ball effectively but also exploited Wisconsin's defensive weaknesses with his athletic ability to run when needed. He shares the weekly award with Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart, who also delivered a standout performance. Dart completed 26 of 34 passes for 377 yards and 2 touchdowns, plus he ran for 36 yards and an additional score in a 40-6 victory over Wake Forest. However, Milo's impact, especially in a hostile environment like Camp Randall Stadium, cannot be understated. This recognition reflects the hard work Milo has put in to establish himself as the offensive leader of Alabama. Since taking over as the starting quarterback, he has shown consistent growth, both in his game reading and in his execution skills. Under the guidance of Kalen DeBoer, Milo appears increasingly comfortable taking on the responsibility of leading the team through the most challenging moments of the season. With the win over Wisconsin, Alabama maintains its momentum heading into the SEC Conference challenges, and Milo will undoubtedly be a key component for the Crimson Tide's continued success. Milo's ability to efficiently command the offense, whether passing or running, provides Alabama with an unpredictable offensive dimension, something that will be crucial against stronger opponents. Now I want to see your comments. Comment below.